Hello, hello, my friends. I have a bit of a collective HOMEWORX haul to share with you guys today. Now, full disclosure, before we get into this video, the candles that I'm talking about were sent to me in PR by Slatkin & Co. A huge thank you to them for doing so. They send me candles here and there, not all the time. But when they do, there's never really any strings attached. They just ask that I share my thoughts about each candle. And so that is what I am going to do. I've got a Luxe candle here that was very generously sent to me. It's one of my all-time favorite fragrances from the brand. So you guys can take a gander. Go ahead and guess down below which fragrance they sent this Luxe size candle to me in. And then I have got a couple of 4-wick candles that are now on the Slatkin & Co. website. It looks like they are starting to put fall fragrances on there, which is exciting because they do some pretty good fall fragrances. I've already checked this morning and it looks like they have, the beloved Harvest Leaves, Autumn Pumpkin, I think it's Spiced Vanilla Pumpkin, just a lot of like the classic staples, Hot Cider Donut, which I think has been on there year round. But a lot of the fragrances that are well loved by the brand are now showing up in their fall collection, as well as I saw a new one on there. I think it was called Dark Harvest or something like that. That one looks a little bit intriguing. So anyways, I'll be going over the 4-wick fragrances that will be offered. And then they were also kind enough to send to me a set of three wicks. These are part of their, they have a big deal promo going on over at QVC. And that promotion is actually going on, it looks like, through next weekend. I want to say maybe through next Saturday. So we're going to go ahead and go over the fragrances that were sent to me. So if you like this video, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button. But let's go ahead and dive into this haul because it's always fun to share with you guys what was sent. So first candle that they sent over to me is the fragrance Espresso Martini. Now, I have already done a post-burn review on this candle. I believe, I'm not even sure if this was a new fragrance last year, but I do know that they sent this candle to me last year, and I did do a post-burn review on it. We have fragrance notes of freshly brewed Italian espresso, cafe au latte liqueur, rum, and whipped vanilla froth. Now, this specific candle, it looks like, has a pour date of, I want to say this is March 12th of 2024, or it's December 3rd of 2024. Sometimes I don't know how HOMEWORX, I don't know. You know what? I should probably look on some of these other ones to see what their pour dates are looking like. Yeah, it's looking like this one actually has a pour date of March 12th of 2024, which if that's the case, this should be nice and strong because we know that HOMEWORX candles, the longer that they sit on shelves, they actually get a little bit stronger. That's been my experience. So this candle, I remember doing the review on this. This is very much like a coffee scent. Now, I don't drink a whole lot, so I haven't had an espresso martini. Fun fact about me, you guys, I actually don't like coffee. I like tea, but I don't like the taste of coffee. I like the smell of it, but I don't like the taste of it. So I've never had an espresso martini. But this, I get definitely a coffee fragrance. Not really a ton of booziness, although I do get a little bit of like a rum or like a liqueur note in the background, but it's not overly boozy. It actually lends a little bit of like sweetness to this fragrance. But like I said, I did do a post-burn review on this candle already, so you're welcome to go ahead and check out my HOMEWORX candle playlist. I could actually probably see myself gifting this candle to somebody else because while I had it last year, I liked it okay, but it wasn't something that I felt like I needed backups of. And you guys know I am pretty intentional about the size of my collection. So I could see myself probably passing this one along to somebody else who might enjoy the fragrance a little bit more, but it was very kind of them to send that to me. Another fragrance that has made a return is their take on red velvet cake. Now, I have made it known that I love me some red velvet cake. It is actually probably my favorite cake to eat. We have fragrance notes of baked velvet cake, fluffy cream frosting, buttercream filling, and cocoa powder. This also has a pour date of July 23rd, 2024. So actually, it's funny, you guys. I reviewed this candle back, I want to say maybe it was around January of this year. I've already had one of these in my collection. And I would have to go back and check that review to see what the pour date was on that candle. Because if it's the same pour date, I think I remembered saying or remembering this candle was I wanted it to be a little bit stronger. It was a little bit light for my taste. That also being said, this fragrance to me doesn't really make me think of an authentic red velvet cake. If you want an authentic red velvet cake, Kringle's Reserve Red Velvet, which is out of stock, was a little bit more authentic to my nose. But that being said, I said that this smells like a cake fragrance. It's not as like caramel heavy as the birthday cake candle that Harry is known for. I love that fragrance as well. But that's got a little bit of like a caramel ribbon undertone in that fragrance. There's no caramel in this, but I do get a cake note out of this. Little bit of frosting in there. It's not like a cream cheese frosting. There's definitely more of like a buttercream component, but I don't get that cocoa and vinegar as prominently in this candle. In fact, I barely detect it. This just, to me, kind of smells almost like a generic cake fragrance, as weird as that sounds. Again, I'm not mad at it. I actually think that it'll pair nicely with a lot of other fragrances currently in my collection. I could pair it with some chocolate scents. I like it, so I'll hold on to it and burn it again, but I'll be curious to see if this one's any stronger than the version that I had in January, just because it's been, it's now been poured a little bit over a year ago, so hopefully it's a little bit stronger. And then here's a candle that I have never had. I know that it's been around for a long time with the brand, but I have never had it. It is the fragrance Toasted Vanilla Cupcake. You guys know I love me a good vanilla gourmand scent. We have fragrance notes of vanilla, caramel, sugar, cream, and vanilla bean. This also has a pour date of May 22nd, 2024. So I'm hoping this one will be strong as well. Now this is good too. So this one is definitely more of like a vanilla cupcake. I do get that caramel note in here. This fragrance is a little bit different than the birthday cake one. The birthday cake candle has some components of like, that one almost reminds me of like funfetti cake mix that you get like at the grocery store out of the box, and you bake it up and that's what it smells like as it's baking in your oven. This has a little bit more of like a frosting component going on with it. Harry does gourmands very, very well. I think it's probably one of the best fragrance like group, like what would I say, fragrance profile groups that he does is gourmand. Yeah, it's, the wax is a little light on cold. That being said, right now my husband is preparing food in the kitchen that is pretty odorous right now. So I'm trying to really stick my nose in these candles so that way I can get a proper smell on these. But yeah, this one has like a toasted component, almost like a nuttiness to it. Not really like an almond note, but I do like this. This is a nice fragrance. I feel like this is a scent that wouldn't be very offensive, but I do smell a little bit of like a more like caramel undertone in here. So might want to be aware of that. But I am not somebody who typically loves caramel fragrances. However, if I do enjoy caramel in a candle, it's usually in HOMEWORX. I do tend to like the way that Harry Slatkin does do caramel scents. So did you have time to type in what fragrance you think they sent me in the Luxe candle? You guys know that I have Harvest Leaves already. I actually purchased this candle last year when it was available on QVC because HOMEWORX had sent me the little advent calendar from their Elton John collab. And this is, again, one of their Elton John collabs. This fragrance was probably my favorite. It's more of a spring and summer fragrance. And unfortunately, it looks like it's sold out on the Slatkin, or not on the Slatkin, on the Slatkin & Co website, but as well as at QVC. So I hope that they have plans to bring it back. But I'm going to bend down and pick it up here. Oof. It is the fragrance Tangerine Palazzo. Now, I am actually, like I said, I still have the one that I purchased last year, and I am at about, I think I still have probably about a third of it left to burn. Like I said, it's more of a spring and summer scent. Oh, this is so good. I think this is one of the best fragrances that they have done. It is, it's bright, it's zesty, it's, fragrance notes of tangerine zest, Italian orange, apricot, and sandalwood. This one has a pour date of August 7th, 2024, which the one that I was burning, back in the spring and summer was also pretty strong for me. Yeah, it's not just straight up orange. This is tangerine. It's sweet, it's fresh, fruity. Oh, just so good. So I don't think I've really heard anybody complain about this one. That's how nicely it's done. This vessel is really nice too. This kind of like peachy orange vessel that I can definitely repurpose as a hurricane. It's got kind of like the keys, which is synonymous with a lot of the Elton John collabs. So we shall put that one back down. But a huge thank you to them for sending that to me. They actually did give us the option of either that one. I think it was the something oak. Which one was it? I can't remember. English oak? English something in oak. And then there was another one that they gave us the option of, but I just know that I love that fragrance that I was like, I am not going to pass up the opportunity to get a backup of Tangerine Palazzo. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the big deal candles that were sent to me. Now, these are a set of three-wick candles. I was sent the Orchard Treats set. There's another one that I want to say, is it called like Woodside? No, I can't remember. Woodland? I don't know, something Woodland. I feel like was the other set that was offered. These fragrances also have matching trios of hand soaps that are offered on QVC. So let's go ahead and start out with the first fragrance in the Orchard Treats collection. It is Mahogany Pumpkin. Now the packaging on this, I have to say, is stellar. We know that HOMEWORX does a really good job with these photographic wraparound labels. They illuminate when the candles are lit. Fragrance notes on Mahogany Pumpkin are heirloom pumpkin, autumn spice, patchouli, and red mahogany. This has a pour date of May 5th, 2025. Okay. This is, you know what this kind of reminds me of a little bit? If you liked last year I feel like Bath and Body Works had a candle. Was it called like Farmhouse Pumpkin or something like that? It had a patchouli note mixed with pumpkin. And that's what this fragrance reminds me of. I have a feeling my family will like this. Personally, this one's a little bit out of my wheelhouse. Like, this isn't a fragrance that I would pick up and purchase, but that is because I personally am not somebody who always loves patchouli in fragrances. But this is kind of like a spicy, slightly perfumey pumpkin type of scent. It's well done for what it is. The pumpkin note in here reminds me a bit of the pumpkin note that they use in Autumn Pumpkin. They use a good pumpkin note in here. Yeah, autumn spice, heirloom pumpkin. Is that the same heirloom pumpkin? I feel like that's the same one. The mahogany note, it's there, but it's not a super deep mahogany. Like, this doesn't come across super cologne-like or anything like that. I definitely get like the spices, like a pumpkin spice mixed with the actual pumpkin and a bit of that patchouli note. The more I sniff it, the more I like it. But I don't know. I have a feeling my husband and my daughter will like this one a lot. But this is Mahogany Pumpkin. And then the second fragrance in that lineup is Sweet Autumn Nectar. Again, really pretty design going on here. It looks like some pomegranates, I think, mixed in with some fall leaves. Fragrance notes, yeah, dark pomegranate, forest fruits, sprinkle of cinnamon, clove bud. Also has a pour date of May 5th, 2025. And yeah, this is a very sweet fragrance, but not cloyingly sweet. Like, when I sniff the lid, I get a little bit more of, yeah, sweet pomegranate for sure. It does remind you kind of like a nectar, a nectar type of fragrance. The spice notes aren't very overwhelming in here. This is not really like a ton of, like, it's not a cinnamon forward fragrance. Maybe a little bit of clove, but those spice notes, if the spice is in there, the sprinkle of spices are scaring you off. It's not. Yeah, this is really nice. I feel like this would pair nicely with one of the other candles that they have offered in this set. Again, not a fragrance that I probably would have purchased if I walked in store and picked it up. It doesn't really make me think of fall, but that's because for me personally, when I think of fall fragrances, I think of like just straight up pumpkin, apple, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I like this one, but it's, again, probably not something that I would have purchased on my own. And then the last one is Blackberry Maple Ice Cream. We have fragrance notes of fresh blackberry, vanilla ice cream, sweet maple syrup, and fresh cinnamon. Okay, this one, to me, this is definitely a blackberry scent. Do I get a ton of creaminess from this? Not I wouldn't smell this and say like, oh, this smells like blackberry ice cream. I don't get anything lactonic or super creamy about this. I get a very sweet blackberry note in here. The blackberry is done very nicely in this fragrance. This is actually a scent that I personally, if I were not going out of town, truthfully, I would probably burn this more so like during this time of year. This is a really nice like late summer type of fragrance preparing for going into the fall season. I might be able to pair this with like maybe some apple scents or whatnot if I get tired, if I want something to kind of like break it up a little bit. But this one actually might go nicely with that sweet autumn nectar. They're both really sweet fragrances. I could actually see myself burning both of these with maybe that toasted vanilla cupcake. Put a vanilla in the mix of these. I think vanilla fragrances tend to go nicely with a lot of fruity fragrances. But this is definitely more of like a late summer, like it's not as deep and robust as say like a plum note, but blackberry I do associate with being more of like a late summer fragrance than an early summer scent. I like it. I like it. This one I actually probably would, if I were to have gone in store, I would pick this up and be intrigued enough to probably purchase a scent like this. But a nice scent. These ones, I will probably get to doing some post-burn reviews on these, honestly, probably in the month of September. I'll talk about that here at the end of the video. But the thing with this big deal is that not only is this trio available, but there is an option for a spring auto ship with this trio of candles. So then there would be another trio of candles of 3 other fragrances that would be sent in the springtime. And HOMEWORX actually had the spring candles available to send to us. So I'm going to go over the 3 fragrances that are available in the spring auto ship if you want to choose that option. The first fragrance is Pink Cherry Blossom. We have fragrance notes of Sakura Cherry Blossom, Apple Blossom, Violet Leaf, and Tonka Bean. Now this one, for whatever reason, does not have a pour date stamped on it. Yeah, this kind of reminds me, I mean, it's a cherry blossom fragrance. It's floral, nothing earth-shattering. Cherry Blossom, not really my type of fragrance. Truthfully, you guys, it's not really a fragrance profile that I go for. But if you like cherry blossom fragrances, I think that you would like this. Kind of clean, floral, sweet. It's a cherry blossom. Nothing earth-shattering, I don't think. Nothing too powdery. But Pink Cherry Blossom is one of the fragrances. And these are also another set of 3-wick candles. The other one is Citrus Peach Nectarine. Fragrance notes of juicy nectarine, ripe peach, fresh squeezed citrus, and mint leaf. This one's good. I like this. I do detect the mint leaf in the base. It's not an overly minty candle, but if you are sensitive to mint, you will smell that in there. But I do get nectarine and peach in here. Do you think that you would like this one, babe? A nectarine and peach candle? Probably not. Yeah, he said probably not. We all know how he feels about that. But I like this, actually. It's very fresh, kind of juicy. Borderline, I think that mint leaf note in there almost makes this smell kind of clean because there's a fresh squeezed citrus note in here. I could see some people possibly thinking that this smells a little bit like cleaning solution, like you're cleaning your house. But I could see myself actually really enjoying this one. I actually think that this fragrance would pair really nicely with Kringle Candles Yuzu and Sage. This might also pair really nicely with that Tangerine Palazzo. But I like it. But the mint leaf note is in there. I definitely smell it. So again, if you're sensitive to mint leaf, might not want this one. And then the last fragrance that is part of the Spring Treats trio is Sugared Coconut. We have fragrance notes here of fresh coconut, sugared vanilla, caramel, and sandalwood. They keep it pretty basic there. And this is nice too. Is it a fragrance that I would have picked up and purchased? No. What am I smelling in here? I smell coconut. What note in here? There's a note in here that's coming across super, super sweet. It's probably the caramel. I feel like it's the caramel mixed with sandalwood. Normally, I like the way that HOMEWORX does sandalwood notes. But something about this is a little, I don't know. It's a little weird to my nose. I'm just going to be honest. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either on cold sniff. Again, it might completely transform. I think it's almost too sweet for my preferences when it comes to coconut scents. Yeah, I think it's the caramel mixed with the coconut that I'm not loving on this one. But anyways, it is part of that springtime treat. So I would say my favorite of the springtime treats is that, what was it called? The citrus peach and nectarine one. That one is pretty nice. So like I said, these are all available at different outlets. You can either go through the Slatkin & Co. website. I do have an affiliate discount code with Slatkin & Co. The discount code is KATIESJOYFULLIFE. It should save you 15% on orders over $40. It is an affiliate code eligible for a commission, so please only use that if comfortable. I think this weekend they are running possibly 20% off. I think I saw the promo was 20% off orders over $90. So if you're wanting to save some money and get some fall candles from Slatkin & Co., I think that would probably be a greater discount. I think you can still use some rewards points with them. But I hope that the Tangerine Palazzo Luxe candle comes back to the QVC website because that is a great scent. And like I said, if you've been curious about the just kind of some cold sniff impressions of what some of these big deal candles are on QVC, now you have them. So I actually saw the Woodland set. We were offered the hand soaps in PR as well, but for some reason those did not get shipped out. I don't know if they weren't ready yet from production, but I hope that they'll still send those out. If not, I might take a look at them and purchase some because I do really like the HOMEWORX hand soaps. The formula is really nice, and I feel like you get a good amount for the money too. So anyways, those are all over on QVC. Let me know in the comment box down below if any of these candles pique your interest. If you have any burn experience with any of the ones that are like returning favorites, I would be curious to know. A little bit of a programming update here. Wanted to let you guys know just what's going on with my channel over the next couple of weeks. So the remainder of this week, for the next 3 days, I will make sure that I have the Spellbound collection candle reviews up for you guys for the Kringle Part 2 launch that is happening this Friday. But wanted to let you guys know that after I upload those videos, I am actually planning to probably take the rest of the month of August off. You guys know I've been working pretty hard on a lot of reviews recently. The last 6 weeks, there have just been a ton of candle launches to cover, which I love doing. But truthfully, you guys, I'm feeling the need for a little bit of a break. I am taking a trip with my husband for our anniversary, and I feel like it'll be some good quality downtime. I really kind of want to take the time to possibly unplug as much as I can and just enjoy that time away. And then when I get back from the trip, my younger 2 kids will actually be starting school. And if you're like me, I don't know if you're like me, but like when I get back from a trip, I oftentimes takes me a couple of days to acclimate and get back into the groove of being, in charge of running a lot of the household things. So I'm just going to give myself the grace period to, let my channel just kind of take a little bit of a siesta for the rest of the month. So if you don't see new videos uploaded for the rest of the month of August after I cover those Spellbound reviews, I'm okay. Everything's all right. But just know that I'm just taking a little bit of a break and enjoying some rest and relaxation. So please hit thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to my channel if you are new. I've got a lot of candle content here if you are new. I typically like to do a candle chat series every month, usually twice a month. I do empties, I do hauls like this, I do reviews. So if you like candle content and you want to stick around, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.